I want you to think back to that night you'll never forget. It was that night where the food tasted like it was in surround sound for flavor, the conversation was easy and endless, and the beer was perfect. Understanding classic pairings is a great way to stack the deck in your favor. I'm Jeremy Storton. I'm a certified Cicerone and the host of the Good Beer Matters podcast. I've partnered with BreweryDB to bring you A Taste of BrewKnowledge. A Taste of BrewKnowledge is a series of videos to help you cook with and pair great beer with excellent food. In this video, we're going to talk about classic pairings and why they work. But here's a little disclaimer. I am not a professional chef, but I do want you to try this at home. Stilton cheese and barley wine. Those are super classic. Stilton cheese is in the blue cheese family, but it is the really big version that is super funky, super sharp, super tangy, and the paste is just very rich and deep and creamy and just, it has such a huge flavor impact. When we put that with the barley wine is just big in the malt flavor, big in the hops, big in the alcohol. It is just a flavor explosion. Camembert and Saison. This is one of my favorites. Camembert is a lot like Brie. It is buttery, it is rich, it is creamy, especially when it's melted. But Camembert, I find, also brings a little bit of like mushroom earthy funkiness to it as well. So it gets really complex and just absolutely tasty. The Saison is perfect for this cheese because you have the intensities that match up really well. You have all these contrasting flavors that the Saison brings, like tartness, citrus, herbs, minerals, hops, hop bitterness. The Saison tends to be higher in carbonation and a little bit drier as well. And so that really helps scrub the Camembert cheese off your palate so that every bite is just like the first. Perfect. Mussels and a Belgian wit. To me, mussels bring this wonderful flavor of sweetness, savory, and a little bit of brine, which is way more complex than just plain saltiness. A Belgian wit, by contrast, really brings these really light flavors of fruit and acidity and even a little bit of a fluffy mouthfeel, along with some interesting complex coriander, orange peel, and just a touch of hops. Together, they fill in the gaps and create something really extraordinary. Vienna lager and tacos. When you add meat and some spicy flavors to that taco, then a Vienna lager is just the perfect thing to pair up with it. The rich maltiness of a Vienna lager really works well with the grilled meat and especially the spiciness you'll find in that taco to really temper that and make it a little bit more interesting. Pizza and American Pale Ale. The thing I especially love about pizza and pale ale is both of them are really complex in their flavor profile, but they're both really approachable. And together, there's such complexity and such balance that no matter what you do, no matter what ingredients you put on the pizza, there's usually a really good harmony between the two. Oysters and Irish Stout. For those of us who like to eat oysters, we typically put a little sauce or some sort of flavoring on top that's really going to change the experience. But if we have just the oysters with maybe just a touch of butter, they really bring out a savoriness, a sweetness, and this wonderful brine that is reminiscent of the sea. What really makes an interesting contrast is bringing an Irish Stout, which is really dry and light, but has these wonderful flavors of dark chocolate, coffee, and even a little bit of acrid burnt flavor to it. When you bring the oysters and the Irish Stout together, they create this really interesting flavor that is not necessarily intuitive, but is absolutely fantastic. Barbecue in a Belgian double. As most of us know, American barbecue can go off in many different directions. It can go spicy, it can go sweet, but it's almost always savory and maybe a little bit smoky. A Belgian double does an excellent job pairing with American barbecue because of the rich and complex malty flavors really connect together well with the barbecue. Which really begs the question, if a Belgian double goes really well with barbecue, does a Belgian double go with barbecue chips? Carrot cake and an IPA. Think about the flavors and ingredients you would expect to find in a carrot cake. You have carrots with the sweetness, you have earthiness, you have nuttiness, you have cinnamon, you have vanilla, all provide this really incredible character. Not to mention you have a tangy sweet cream cheese frosting on top. The bitterness from the IPA and the tangy sweetness from the cream cheese frosting really combine together, not to cut each other back completely, but to form a new flavor and something completely interesting. I share these classic pairings not because that's what you should serve your guests, but because you should challenge and improve these so that you can find your next classic pairing. And remember, there's a world of craft and culture found in every beer. Your glass awaits.